Welcome to part 2 in this page editor series. In the last video, we went over the basic layout of the page editor and how to create components. Today, I will be going over how to use sizing, spacing, and device views, and also some new components like maps, forms, and product collections. If you haven't already, I strongly suggest watching the first part so you can understand what I'm doing. Continuing on from our previous part, let's go over sizing components. This button here seems a bit too small for my liking, so what if I want to increase the width and height of it? First, let's select the button and then click on the Size tab. By default, button widths are on fit content, which means that it will automatically resize depending on what's in it. So when I type in more words in my text button, you can see that the width of the button is automatically resizing. I can also make the button a full size, which will stretch the button to its maximum container edge. Custom width allows you to manually set how wide the element is. You can type in how many pixels wide it goes, so like I can do 100 pixels, 200 pixels, 500 pixels, and so on. You can also specify a percentage instead of pixels, so for example, if I type in 50%, the button will stretch to 50% of the container. I can do 70% and 20%, you get the point. Do note that if you set a percentage, it will stretch depending on the user's screen size, so make sure you test it out on a variety of devices. I am going to set a pixel size so it will look uniform across all my devices. Horizontal alignment aligns the component to whatever side of the container you like. Lastly, max width is a constraint that will limit how far your component will stretch and resize. Let's say you made the width full. For very large and long screens, this button will look extremely long, so you can use max width to limit that. The same deal here, you can specify a custom max width in pixels or percentages and the button size will never go above max width. Now that we've gone over how to resize things, let's go to spacing. You can change the padding here. Padding is the inner space of your element. It is a bit hard to tell when I edit the left or right padding, but it is more apparent when I edit the top and bottom padding. You can see that it adds inner space to the edge of the button. Padding is a great way to fine-tune your sizing. The next spacing property we can look at is margins. By default, margins are hidden and you can reveal it by clicking on Show Margin underneath the padding. Margin is opposite to what padding is. It adds outer space to the element. I can show it to you by adjusting the top and bottom margins. Left and right margins aren't usually touched unless your component horizontal alignment is left or right. If you messed up, or you simply want to return to default margins, you can do so by clicking on Reset Margins. The View tab controls how you want your element to be displayed. Under Display, you can make it so it is hidden. It's useful if you want to hide incomplete elements, or elements that aren't needed currently but may be useful later, like seasonal banners. So for example, if you have a banner on top here that says 30% off on all orders for Black Friday, after Black Friday is over, you don't have to delete it. All you need to do is just hide it until next year, or edit it to fit the next holiday seasons. Under Device Display is how your element will be viewed on specific devices. By default, it is on all devices, which means that it is viewable on both desktop and your mobile phone. If I switch it to mobile only, you can see that element has now disappeared, and I can no longer select it. But if you remember the perspective buttons, you can switch between desktop and mobile view. On mobile view, you can see that the element has reappeared. It is easier to see if I enable the frames. So you can now filter out specific elements for specific devices. A good example to use different device displays is this element we just made. The text now blends in too much with the background, so we can duplicate the row and make the text white so it contrasts better with the background. Then we will make it for mobile view only. Remember to set the original row to desktop only so it doesn't show for mobile as well. Now we can preview it by going back and forth on the desktop and mobile perspective buttons. This is how you make web elements for different device views. Next, let's go over the More tab. You can add a slideshow which basically auto-rotates a set of images you give it. A blog links to your blog posts. Products is inserting a product list, which is a good way to showcase your products on a page. Forms are a great way for your customers to contact you. They can enter information into the given fields and it will reappear on your admin portal. The map uses Google Maps, and you can input any location as you wish. For example, your store location. And lastly, you can link to any YouTube video with our YouTube component. Now that you have learned the basic fundamentals of Expancio's robust web editor, let's try finishing our page. For this example, let me add a product collection to show off our best sellers. You can sort by a variety of different ways with a product collection. Experiment to see what looks best for your store. Let's also add a banner to the top of the page. For example, let's tell our users that there is a Black Friday sale. We can first insert an empty row, adjust its default height, and then add a title to it. I hope this page editor series helped you. If you still need any help in editing your page, please do not hesitate to contact us at Expancio Support. That's all for now, and thanks for choosing Expancio.